So this is going to be my response and my thought process on part one of the Janet Jackson documentary. Part one, they go into what it was like for her to grow up in Gary, Indiana, being the baby of the family, and then trying to pave her own way into the music industry, having the last name Jackson, because, there's a lot behind that. A lot of pressure to outdo your siblings, to try to stay on top, but always there's some reporters, some fans, some people always asking, how's your older brother Michael? When's he got his stuff coming out? What's he up to? Is he okay? And it was hard for her to find her own way because she wanted originally to become a business paralegal. And it worked that way. She didn't want to really go into the music industry. She didn't want to be a part of that, but she had no choice. When Randy took part in it, she had to step in, and do her part as part of the Jackson's variety show that they had in the 70s. And she kind of tried to take it in, did what she could, and then Joseph decided to have her do her first album, which wasn't as successful. That was her first album, and it didn't do well, but once she cut Joseph off as manager, she was taking full control of her music career, how she presented herself to the public, what she wanted to look like. If you go back and you look at her in the 80s, you see that she was the tomboy of the family. She wore jeans, tennis shoes, long jackets. She didn't like showing off her body, but going into the 90s, she started flaunting it, showing it off, not being afraid of being a woman. She was stepping into her womanhood and telling everyone, yes, I'm Michael's little sister. Yes, these are my siblings, but I'm not like them. I'm me. I don't want to be pitted up against my siblings. She also dealt with racism, coming up from Gary, Indiana, going from Gary, Indiana, to their little small house that was the size of a garage, going from a small house to a big mansion, brothers, earning royalties from their albums, doing interviews, doing photo shoots, doing albums, and being thrust into the spotlight and not having to struggle no more because their mother was working at Sears when Janet was a baby. Janet and Randy were just toddlers when Michael and the rest of the brothers hit it big. She was doing it, she wanted to maintain some type of normalcy for her children, but she didn't know how to take that in. But Janet had to overcome a lot, being the younger sibling, the baby sister of the family, and constantly being asked about your older brother, being asked about his personal life, being asked about his skin condition, and whatever else that they wanted to ask her about. Once she wanted to lead her own life and build her own career on her terms, which she's rightfully done. Now she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's been inducted with The Cure, Stevie Nicks, and countless others. She's now she's in that place. Now she can do what she needs to do for herself to keep herself going, whatever revenue that may be. And seeing the first part of this, has given me greater respect for her just standing on her own and doing her own thing musically, and not having to feel like she has to be in this big fat bubble, because, we all, as artists, they all go through changes in sound and how they present themselves to the public. She is no different than the rest of the artists you see, whether it be Sierra, Missy Elliott, Alicia Keys, anybody. They all go through that phase where they want to change their style, they want to change the way their music sounds so they're not boring. But back in my day, I grew up watching Janet's videos along with Michael's, And there was one particular video that our beloved mom did not want me to see, did not want me to watch. She's like, if Janet's video for If comes on, I want you to switch the channel, because the choreography for that specific music video was very sexual in a way. Very, very sexual. And my mother did not want me to be exposed to that, mind you, but that's a whole different story. But for me, now I get to see her enjoy her life and enjoy being a mom and, talking to her mother, catching up with the rest of her brothers, talking about Michael, even though it was painful for her to talk about. When they did the first part of the documentary, you go in and you watch it and you see that there's a painting on the building of the Jackson 5, and there's little Michael looking up into the sky, and Janet's got tears streaming down her face because she'd never seen anything like it, and she thought it was extraordinarily beautiful, and she just had tears streaming down her face. And then in this other clip, in part 2, which they're going to show tomorrow night, which I'm going to watch as well, Janet asked her mother, she said, how do you feel about Mike? Can you talk about Mike? And she's looking at Janet like, she's got tears in her eyes. She's like, I can't talk about Michael. I still can't do it. I can't. She loves her kids, but Michael was her baby. Anything that she wanted, anything that she needed, she got. If she needed something from him, she'd say, Michael, I need you to do this, this, and this for me. The only person in that family that could get him to budge to do anything was their mom. And he loved her and she loved him. She didn't the thing with Catherine is too, she never played favorites with her kids. She never made them feel like they were more than or less than. She always treated them equally, So, but as an artist now, and as a person that is in her own right, in her own league, because she doesn't have anything left to prove, she doesn't have to prove anything to anybody, I feel like it's going to be a lot harder for these other female artists to follow in Janet's footsteps, because she set the bar so freaking high, and it's going to be harder for the other female artists that are up and coming or have been around, just haven't been very active in the music industry. They're going to have bigger shoes to fill, because Michael and Janet set the bar so high. I don't see anybody else trying to break those bars, male or female. I don't see it happening with any other artists. Those artists, Michael and Janet in particular, set the bar so high, I don't think anybody else could break those bars. Michael and Janet were the first ones to set it up and make it to where they could achieve their own success and be their own persons. I can't imagine what it's like to have the last name Jackson and everybody who's not related to you, who's in the media, ask you, how's your brother doing? You okay? How's your success? How you hold up with your success? Are you okay? Are you all right? And I can't imagine that. I can't. And to have that type of pressure must be overwhelming. But I will say that I have more respect for her now than I ever did, because back in the day, as a youngster, as a teenager, I didn't find her quite as popular. I preferred Michael over her, but as now that I'm older, I have respect for her. I don't think they're better than one another. They're both equally as great. The bar that these two set is so high, I don't see anybody else breaking it. So that's just me. But anyway, there's my 2 cents on the first part of Janet's documentary. I will do part 2 after I watch. Alright? Thanks. Bye.